B.S. Yediyurappa, who so far was really out in the back burner in the political wilderness of Karnataka after being sacked as Chief Minister, will be most likely the campaign committee chief of the BJP. Sources say the BJP will fight the Karnataka elections with Yediyurappa and Prime Minister Modi as the main faces. BJP sources say not giving prominence to BSY could lead to losses for the BJP. Now remember, they've attempted twice over now to reduce the significance of B.S. Yediyurappa. It's never worked. We saw how the Prime Minister recently, when he was in Karnataka, those images now on your screen, gave pride of place to Yediyurappa, and now if they fight the elections with him as the campaign committee chief, that's a big leg up for Yediyurappa.
It is, and it's a recognition that, you know, this is the BJP which at election time forgets whatever has happened in the past, all animosities, all grudges, and sees who will win us the election. You know, you can have a Margdarshak Mandal across the country, but you can't have it in Karnataka. Yediyurappa ji is, I think, 78 now, but he's still your most powerful Lingayat face. You had a Lingayat Chief Minister in Basavaraj Bommai 2 years ago, but clearly he doesn't have the same appeal as Yediyurappa has. And Yediyurappa comes, you know, is a recognition in the sense of the limitations of the BJP's next generation in Karnataka, and that's the BJP. You know, you wanted to change Biplab Deb, you went ahead, changed them because you recognized there was anti-incumbency. Their tracker polls must be showing that Basavaraj Bommai is clearly not attracting the same kind of...
no, but they dialed back on mistakes.
That's right.
They wanted to get rid of Yediyurappa for a long time, and with great effort they did manage to achieve that. They figured it hasn't worked well. They figured that if they go with Basavaraj Bommai as Chief Minister into the polls, they'll get beaten in Karnataka. Therefore, they are now looking to make tactical changes. Is it already too late? Because remember, this is a government that has lots of charges against it. Or can Yediyurappa and Prime Minister Modi help spring a comeback? Paulumi Saha joins us. She tracks the BJP very closely for us. Paulumi, give us your perspective on how Yediyurappa was in the political exile, Vanvas, till recently. Now he's being rehabilitated and given pride of place.
That's right. Yediyurappa, of course, has been someone who has been the biggest face of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the state of Karnataka, the longest serving Chief Minister for the BJP in the state of Karnataka, 4-time Chief Minister as well, 3 times Leader of Opposition, so the tallest leader the Bharatiya Janata Party has in the state of Karnataka. Very recently, when the Prime Minister was in Shivamogga as well, which is, of course, Yediyurappa's bastion, you saw those photographs of them holding hands at the rally and walking together, which the Prime Minister's office described as a special relationship is only shown in action. So this is probably, an extrapolation of that, where the Bharatiya Janata Party is already envisaging a bigger role for Yediyurappa, though he is, of course, someone who is not going to contest the elections, probably won't become the Chief Minister again, given, the rule of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He's 80 years old at the moment, but they are, of course, thinking of appointing him as the election campaign committee in charge for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the face which will be projected alongside that of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's in these Karnataka Assembly elections as far as the BJP's campaign is concerned. So everywhere where you see the Prime Minister's face, you will also see B.S. Yediyurappa's face as well, given, as you've been discussing, he is, of course, the biggest face of the BJP in Karnataka, and also a Lingayat face as well. Lingayats comprising about 16% of the population, a huge vote bank, and a vote bank that the BJP depends on quite heavily in these elections, Rahul.
But Ajdeep, I want to ask you, the sheer fact that you have Yediyurappa who's coming in as the poll panel chief, he's the one who's going to be in charge practically now giving the tickets. Now he's going to be giving it to his own people probably. So he's the one, if not the chief minister, then it is his chief minister if at all the BJP comes to power.
Look, I think Yediyurappa was the one who blessed Bommai. It's one thing to have someone as your administrative face, but when it comes to elections, you need a Yediyurappa. As I said, it shows the BJP's ability to course correct just before an election. Uttarakhand, they recognized that their government clearly was facing anti-incumbency. They changed 3 chief ministers in the space of 2 months. They recognized that Tripura with Biplab Deb, look at these numbers. Imagine if you had the same chief minister in Biplab Deb, they'd probably lose Tripura. So clearly they dialed back. Yediyurappa is someone who has serious corruption charges against him in the past. his government was eventually seen as a government where his sons were benefiting, there were charges against him. You'd removed him as CM, but before an election, you've gone back to him. So I think that, it's a lesson for political parties that when it comes to elections, you are willing to be flexible, you are willing to make those adjustments, and you're willing to, embrace change. The Congress for the longest time has failed to do that. In all these three northeast states, I repeat today, Nefurio was an ex-congressman, Mukul Sangma is someone who's damaged you today, was an ex-congressman. Had the Congress and Trinamool been together, who knows what would have happened. And Pradyut Dev-Burman, yes, has taken an extreme position on Tripura land to grow, but the fact is he's an ex-congressman.
And that
so
wasn't the reason why he left the Congress. And
sorry?
That wasn't the reason why he left the Congress. In 2019, he's the one who took Congress into Lok Sabha elections. And Supriya Shrinate, if you're with us, this is a lesson to be learned if you look at it. 2018, you're down to 2%. 2019, Lok Sabha election under Pradyut, you went up to 19%. He left and look where you stand right now in Tripura. You could have made those amends much earlier. Supriya Shrinate, can you hear? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Supriya.
On Mr. Yediyurappa. Mr. Yediyurappa was shunted out of office on charges of grave corruption. Mr. Yediyurappa was facing the might of the CBI. Of course, all cases dissolved and no evidence has been furnished so far. Mr. Modi is going to send his agencies and the might of the Indian state to the opposition leader's doorstep, but not against Mr. Yediyurappa. The 40% commission government has now found a rescue and a savior in perhaps one of the most corrupt faces in Karnataka, Mr. Yediyurappa. The same Mr. Yediyurappa who was going to be put in mental coma according to the BJP in the Margdarshak Mandal, suddenly the Prime Minister feels obliged to hold his hand and walk because he's going to win elections. I'm sorry, this is not the smartest...
Winning elections matter. No, Supriya Shrinate.
Absolutely.
Supriya Shrinate, are you saying that political parties do not wish to win elections? No, are you saying political parties do not wish to win elections?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Of course, we are in the quest for power. Of course, we want to win elections. But there is something called an ideological stand. This is an ideological cop-out. This is a complete ideological compromise. Why did you have to change Mr. Yediyurappa? Why did you have to get in Mr. Bombay? Shouldn't these questions be asked? Why was Mr. Yediyurappa asked to leave? Why was he shunted out? Because he faced grave charges of corruption. Today, you are willing to endorse him. Today, you are willing to walk step in step with him because suddenly he makes sense politically. I mean, I'm all for winning elections and obviously we will win Karnataka, Mr. Yediyurappa or not. I frankly think we will win Karnataka hands down. But it also exposes the hypocrisy of the BJP.
No, but you can say all of this, Supriya Shrinate. The fact is, in Tripura, for example, the BJP removed Biplab Deb, brought in Manik Saha. At the end, this moment, they stand at 31. Now the BJP's realized that Basavaraj Bommai isn't doing a good job. They've made these tactical arrangements and very often they find the ways and means of crossing the finishing line. The Congress makes all the right moralistic noises but doesn't end up turning that morality into a political victory.
No. It's a sad day for democracy when somebody as senior and as journalist I consider very highly in esteem says moralistic noises.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to win the election. They made the tactical arrangement.
The story that you were just discussing, Rahul, the story that you were just discussing, the Supreme Court order, is about morality in politics. So let's not keep morality at bay. Morality has to and must continue to be an intrinsic part of our politics. But I will also say, when you are in power with a brute majority like the BJP is in the center, it's easy to make these tactical changes.
But
let the BJP have a lesser majority.
Ms. Shrinate, isn't it a little hypocritical?
No,
because,
I don't understand.
Okay, we can go into these
changes.
But Ms. Shrinate, we can go into these moral lessons and all of that aside, but doesn't it smack of hypocrisy? It smacks of hypocrisy because look at your own alliances in places like Bihar. You are in bed with the RJD. Isn't the RJD accused of corruption? You yourself have done it earlier.
That's exactly.
You just have to be smarter about it. It's politics.
No. 1 second. Preeti, you are wrong there. We do not shunt out chief ministers on charges of corruption and then make them in charges of campaign committees. That is the difference between us and them. I'm sorry, you can keep saddling the opposition with corruption charges. That doesn't mean that the opposition is corrupt and you are squeaky clean.